Hey, I'm Andy, and welcome to Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid. Alrighty, we are here with our summer finale of the Rock, Roll, and Red Plaid podcast. Here with Alec and Jon from Condition Baker. How are you, fellas?
What's up? How we doing?
Good.
Heyo, pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, Condition Baker. Now, with a name like that, I was telling this morning. I told my mom that I was doing. See, now I hold on. I should have turned my phone off. Scott, don't call me. I told him after 6. I would keep that in for comic relief.
Yeah, do it, man.
Okay,
There you go.
seriously. Now, Condition Baker.
Yeah,
I was telling. Sometimes I'll mention who I'm interviewing for these podcasts and stuff, and today my mom asked, "Well, who are you interviewing today?" I said, "This local band called Condition Baker," and she goes, "What a name like that? You know, what were they just out drinking and decided on a goofy name like that?"
no, it's
So,
actually
yes,
have
go
a
ahead,
story.
enlighten us.
So, 2017, we are coming up with a band name. This is with my drummer Victor, and I don't know, we couldn't really come up with a good name because that's like the hardest part of forming a band is having a really cool name.
For certain.
And so we originally Baker Road because that's a street that we practice at because it's my parents' house, Baker
Ah,
Road. And so I had this shirt by this band, Jawbreaker, who's like one of the biggest influences on the band.
hmm.
And they actually have a song called "Condition Oakland," and it's one of
Ah,
their well-known ones. And we were like, "Oh, damn! Like I wish we were from California or something like that, because like Condition Oakland or Condition Boston, that'd be kind of cool." And then they just kind
mm,
of like merged the two names together to Condition Baker, and people were
okay.
like, "Yeah, that's a cool name. Like, I think that's cool. You guys should stick with it." And so that's how that started.
That's actually a really cool story about that. I love when the stories come full circle like
Yeah,
that. That's really cool. Um, I guess I was telling Alec here before we got on the air here. I'll tell it to both of you. I when I got introduced to you guys from Scotty and Alex from Pretty Rotten,
yeah,
and because I had them on the podcast not too long ago too,
nice.
and we were thinking of putting a show together. You guys, myself, and Pretty Rotten, and our my friend Cliff. We'll all kind of do this round robin thing. It would be kind of cool. At some point, we'll hopefully still do
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
But I wanted to go and listen to having another band on the bill because it initially had started with us and Pretty Rotten. I'm like, and they suggested you guys. And at first, I'm not gonna lie, the name, I'm like, it's an interesting name. But
Yeah,
I
right.
went and listened to How It Goes, and I swear that song was on loop for at least a solid hour for me.
Damn. Hey, thanks,
Yeah.
man. Appreciate it.
I'm not even kidding. It still gets into my playlist every now and again. It's
Thank
not
you,
even ever,
man.
it more frequently, actually. Not gonna lie. And I was building up the suspense. To me, it sounds like a hybrid of Rise Against and the Ramones.
Yeah, yeah, we get that a lot for
It's a
sure.
Okay,
little bit of.
really? Those exact two, or
Yeah.
okay?
What are you gonna say, John?
I was gonna say it's like if the Ramones wrote kind of a country song, but played it like the Ramones. Like it feels like a little country vibes,
Yeah,
but
a
but
little
it's a
Hmm.
country
punk song.
twang.
Yeah,
Well, these days, the weird hybrids of genres aren't so much weird anymore. They're just like, this person in the band likes this band and artist, this
Right.
person likes this, and they just throw it in the soup, you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, individual influences, I guess, come and go for depending on where you are and listening to what. But what was your aha moment for you
or
to
how it
really
goes.
not even for how it goes, but just like for you to really start playing even when you were younger? Like who was the band or artist that made you want to pick up an
Oh.
instrument?
John, you want to go first on that question?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I grew up like as like I feel like most people do, like listening to my dad's records. So like the first rock band that I got was I got the best of Led Zeppelin 1 and 2, and just listened to that all the way through. And that's kind of like what got me into like just music in general. But I'd say now, like more recently, a lot of my stuff is like Third Eye Blind and a lot of '90s stuff, which is why I think I meshed really well with the Condition Baker band. I joined about a year ago, but it's like
Yeah.
we all are really into '90s stuff, and that's kind of like what is my favorite like era of music, and anything from that kind of like alt rock grunge period
Hmm.
is a huge influence on how I write and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I can pinpoint exactly when. I was living in East Boston originally. I mean, I was really young, like
Hmm.
before I even started school. But my dad had a PlayStation 1, and there's this game on the PlayStation 1. I forget the name of it, but the soundtrack had a Soundgarden on it.
Okay.
And I wouldn't even play the game really. I would go into the extras, and it would just be the music video for Rusty Cage.
Oh
Yeah,
yes.
so I would just play that on loop. So getting really into like Chris Cornell,
Oh.
Soundgarden, Audio Slave.
Hmm.
Uh, that was for me, like that's the first band that I really like. I was like, damn. And from a young age, I was like, damn, I got to do
Sure.
this somehow. This is too cool.
Oh
Um,
man.
and I mean, now I mean, over the years, like I've gotten super into the Beatles.
Hmm.
Uh, that's a band that like me and my grandmother was to like all the time together.
Awesome.
My dad loves Tool, so like I grew up on
Okay.
Tool,
Yeah.
and I love
Right
Tool
on.
as well. I didn't get into punk. That was kind of like something I discovered myself for like high school and college
Hmm.
years.
Hmm.
And then even nowadays, I was just listening to this band, Military Gun.
Hmm.
They just played on this radio station in Seattle,
Hmm.
and they put an album out, and I just got into them over the winter. I'm like, damn, like, there's a lot of like rock's kind of coming back. There's some good music
I
out there.
agree fully.
People just gotta listen, man.
Mm.
But yeah, that'd be like where I started. Definitely Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. He was
There, there is a. I always said about Chris Cornell, voices like that don't come up very often.
no,
A
I
vocal like
even
that.
you can't even replicate it. It's too hard to do.
There is but one guy who even he looks like him a little bit. It's a little eerie, actually. Do you know who Richie Kotzen is?
No, no, I haven't
Okay.
heard of it.
Look up the band The Winery Dogs, and
The
they have a
Winery
song
Dogs.
called Elevate. Okay. Not only does the guitar player and singer Richie Kotzen eerily look a little bit like Cornell, he's got the voice.
Yeah,
It's
he's
kind of
the
freaky,
clone.
actually. Second coming.
Yeah.
No, but it's in that band that's Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater
Oh,
on
nice.
drums, Billy Sheehan on bass, who I had on this show not too long ago,
Oh, damn.
um,
Nice.
and then Richie playing guitar and singing. They're like a power trio.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
Yeah,
they're
I gotta check
so
them
good,
out.
so good. And then they are like a throwback, kind of like that '70s hard rock kind of thing. Just no frills, just meat and potatoes kind of thing.
There you go. Yeah.
I always like asking this question because this is a fun one. First gig and or nightmare gigs that I always like to talk about, like any fun experiences along the way.
Oh,
It doesn't
yeah.
have to be Condition Baker, just anything that stood out to you guys. Like learned from that. That was great.
Oh,
Any
yeah.
number of things. It's probably a million of them.
There's so many for me. John, anyone from like Starving at Thirst gigs that you guys used to do?
Not really, but as far as like nightmare gigs go, I feel like our Boston Rumble was like probably as bad as it can get.
I heard
Like at
about
least
that,
Really?
but go
for
ahead.
a
Yes.
band, yeah. like, I mean, just one of those things where like AJ had a family emergency and couldn't make it to our Battle of the Band show, and Nick, our guitarist, and the rest of us were just kind of like, how do we can't like back out the day of.
Right.
So we took on singing responsibilities, which I can't sing, and I mean we just kind of went up there and did our best. But like honestly, that the lessons learned from that is just like I feel like it's punk music. It's supposed to be like authentic and genuine, like right, like it's you don't stop the show for anything, and I thought that was really cool. At least that we were able to do it. Not well,
a lot of street cred for that too, man. So
Oh yeah. I bet when word gets
publicity.
around, I bet when word gets around like that, when I'm like, their singer wasn't even there and they pulled it off. Yeah.
Yeah, pulled it off is debatable, but yeah, I think we
I
did.
heard. I mean, even I heard. I heard it went as well as it could have. I think so. Anyhow. So.
Yeah. I mean, John, isn't every Condition Baker show a nightmare show to begin with?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something going on.
Our amps never worked, and yeah, there's always something that happens. A lot of technical difficulties.
You know, I actually just started going ampless. Actually, I use an amp sim pedal now.
Oh, you hear that, John?
Uh-oh.
I'm a big so the rest of the band is all like hardcore tube amp. Like tube amp's the only way to go.
I think
it's like wine, where it's like it gets to a certain price point and everyone just makes up that they can think it sounds better because it has tubes in it. You know, you can't really tell.
Okay.
Especially now, like back in the day with the Line 6 like crappy amps that you get.
Okay, well
right.
Yeah, the pods, those little kidney shaped red.
Like maybe back then, but now, like if you're doing amp sims, it sounds the same.
Now, Alec, you're the one of the mind of the tube amp thing.
Yeah, at least live. I just there's something about an actual amp that you can't recreate. But I gotta say, like, so
okay,
Nick, we've been working on some new stuff lately, and
now, sorry,
we're taking the amp sim approach, and even me, like, he's got me hooked on one. I bought the Neural DSP Soldano amp sim.
Okay,
and it does sound just like the actual Soldano that we used on our second EP. And I was like, wow, that's pretty. You can't beat that. That's like $100 for a plugin versus $3,000 for an amp head.
Now I got
can't beat that.
Headphones are cocking out here. 1 second. Okay,
no problem.
Now, I'm somewhere in between the two of you. Now, this is as regards that opinion, because I swear, in the last 2 weeks, okay, I got a TC Electronics Amp Sim Jim's 800 Marshall simulator pedal.
Oh, nice.
Okay. I have been religiously a Marshall guy for almost 20 years. And I don't I don't want to say I'm old now because I just turned 30, but it's like I'm more lazy than anything. It's like I don't want to lug all this stuff around.
No,
it's a lot to do, you know, especially when you're doing it yourself and then you got to play and then do it afterwards. So I went and got from TC Electronics the Jim. I call it the Jim pedal because it just says Jim's right on the front of it. And this is not a paid endorsement, by the way. I just love this pedal as much as whatever. I'm using it in the studio now too. And I A-B'd it. Sounds exactly like my Super Lead.
No.
Very, very, very within the line, man. I like literally plug one in, plug one out. I'm like, okay. And especially because it has a direct cab sim, you can plug it right into the PA and you can have it at the end of your board.
Yeah.
Just gonna throw that out there, Alec.
I think that's gonna be us too, and John. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, with like amps and stuff and gear, it's more about the vibes. Like if you just like the vibes and the tone sounds good to you, you know, and if you don't have to carry a huge amp everywhere, who cares? Like it's still fun to use like the tube amp stuff and go into the studio and plug in a million things. But I don't know.
And for years, and I must say, you know, I have been that guy where I would stick my nose up in the air and go, "What are you using to plug in? You Axe Effects, you Kempa.
That's how
you do it the Boston way, you Kempa."
It really is. It's I've felt the same way for a while, up until like just recently when we started demoing new stuff like together. I'm just like, wow, like this is you actually get really good tones
Yeah.
right out of the
Yeah.
program, you know? It's
I
pretty
was
sweet.
I had a guitar player called Anthony Gomes on the podcast not too long ago, and we were talking about the same thing where as far as I know, he uses Kempers live, but he has cabinets like for like actual, for stage
Right,
volume, which makes
right.
sense, Um, he uh, he said an interesting thing where he said the technology has to catch up with what we want because for years people have been saying, oh, amp sims and for example also wireless units, they're all ready to go now. They're not.
Yeah.
Another 5 years go by, oh, they're ready, and no, they're not. But now at this point, I think there's getting to a point where it's an option now too, and it's a decent and good option now too, and you don't have
Right.
to spend a lot on a Kemper or an XFX either. You can get these pedals that are have a direct out.
Yeah.
We went on our soapboxes now, and anybody who's still watching, yay!
I know we're like gear nerds for those
Oh, we
that
embrace
stuff.
it here on the show. We on Rock Roll and Red Plaid, we endorse gear nerdedness.
Yeah.
Are there any, I guess so, not to say that not to quote you guys directly, that every condition baker gig is a nightmare. I hope not. But are there any ones that stood out to you that really, on the opposite side, were really like walking away from that and then remembering it way back, like, oh, remember that one? That one was the best, man.
Um, our last show we played Somerville Porch Fest.
Ah, yes.
Um, it was probably the most people we played in a long time.
Mhm.
And like for me personally, I had so much going on, like family wise and
Sure,
stress wise.
sure.
And being able to play that show was like, it was almost like a religious experience, just being able to play and really just be in the moment, let loose. Because like the past couple of months were just like a nightmare for me. So I got to say that one was definitely probably the best condition Baker show we played. Was Somerville Porch Fest, I think.
I think the word is cathartic. It was very
Cathartic,
cathartic.
yeah.
Yeah.
It really was, yeah. It was something. And then I mean
Awesome.
you can't beat John John's hot dog bash cookouts either.
Care to enlighten us, John?
Yeah. So this is a local thing. So this is maybe so I used to play in a band that I played with my buddies from high school, and like when you like are in your 20s or early 20s, like how do I gig? No one wants to have my crappy band play in a bar, right? Like, so we were just trying to figure out another way to play a show for people and throw it as cheap as possible. So we just got a bunch of light beers, bought a bunch of hot dogs, and just played in the garage of my buddy's place in Somerville. And we did that 7 years ago, and I've been doing it every year since. And we just play like dad rock, like old stuff, and it's kind of gotten to the point where it's now like it's like an unofficial college and high school reunion for like everyone I know. Like people
Right.
fly across the country just to go to this thing
No
now,
way.
which is really cool. Yeah,
When's the
like it's
next
cool
one? I'll
to.
come and jam with you guys.
I won't say the address, but we are doing it on July 27th this year. Just because I don't want people showing up at my
Oh,
house.
understood. Yeah, of course. Let me know. I might show up with my
Oh
amp sim.
yeah, you
Yeah.
got it, yeah. We'll let you know.
And two, I think another one of the things, like we're talking about coolest gigs, and this probably isn't really cool because for AJ, because we've done it a million times, but the first time we played at Middle East was
Yeah.
a really
Yeah.
cool gig for me. I think it was my second show with the band, and like I've been to a million punk concerts with bands that I like there.
Sure.
Like just going there. My dad went there in the '80s, like to go see like tons of artists. So it's cool to like just be on that stage where like so many other bands have played, even if it's not like the biggest deal or anything like that. But it is
Sure.
just really cool going there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
it's so grungy. Like the vibes there are great. I love it.
Yeah.
It's cringy, but it's in a good cringe. You know what I mean? It's like what's the Japanese term, wabasabi. It's like perfect because it's imperfect.
Right.
Yeah,
No, it
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah, they haven't changed it in 40 years. It's amazing.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even the floors.
Right. It's
But
always good playing there, though.
yeah, I played the downstairs there once.
Oh, that's awesome. Man.
That was probably another cathartic moment there
Yeah.
because Joe Satriani, who's one of my absolute favorite guitar players, seen him probably more times than anybody else, played there at the Middle East downstairs with, here's a lineup for you, with Sammy Hagar,
Oh, damn.
Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers, and Michael
Oh,
Anthony
wow.
from Van Halen, all in the
Oh,
same
my
group. It was
Was this
like
Chicken Foot?
yep, Chickenfoot.
Is that what they were? Yeah.
That was the very like first time they were in Boston.
That's
And I didn't go to the show because, like, I don't know, I just didn't get there, whatever. I was like 14 or 15 at the time. But years later, when we get to play that, it was for WEMF, excuse me.
Yeah.
One of the shows when they were still around. And when I heard we were playing the downstairs, I'm like, and now I'm always on stage left, usually. But I
Right.
had to be on stage right
Yeah.
because that's that's where Satriani always is. So I had to stand in the right place. It's this very kind of like I said, full circle, like, and I
Oh,
hit a
yeah.
big chord, and then because I'm thinking like, and people kind of poke fun at me at this, but I don't care. Satriani has always been an Ibanez guitar through a Marshall stack guy, and what am I?
You're
Exactly.
an
Ibanez
Ibanez guy, too.
Marshall stack guy. So I hit a big chord, and I'm just like, I am complete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And same for our drummer that night too, because the first ever concert he had seen his whole life was at that venue, the downstairs.
Really?
So he got emotional, and he's a robot. Buck, our drummer, he's a robot. He doesn't, but he had a moment there. I don't want to disclose that, but it was nice actually to see him kind of be like, oh,
Awesome. Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking about
That's
it.
what
Oh, man,
music's about, man.
yeah. Oh man, I know we had spoken before, I think off air about doing a show with me and
Pretty
you
fun.
guys and Pretty Rotten and my
Yeah.
friend Cliff. Um, we'll do that eventually. I'd like to do it at the Jungle. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
definitely.
Yeah.
That's a stomping ground for the band. We play there a lot. So
I have yet to be there, actually. I've heard great things. I've seen great things too. It's just haven't. I live on the North Shore, so it's kind of a
yeah,
lot to get down there. But
especially if you can land a Friday night slot or even like a Saturday, like
Saturdays
late
are tough for
afternoon.
me because early morning Sunday.
Oh,
Uh,
that's right. Yeah.
but Thursday or Friday, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Very
that
good.
would
Very
be
good.
really really fun. I don't know how long we've been on the air here. We're not even on the air. I'm just using that term because that's what we do.
Yeah.
But I would like to close out on the video here by throwing in how it goes, the lyric video. If you guys don't mind in post, I'll throw that in and
Yeah.
play that for you guys because I just, like I said, that song has been on so many repeats, and I would love to share that with my
Yeah, man.
listeners.
For
So,
sure. Same.
all right, well, I guess we're riding out with how it goes. These guys are in Condition Baker. Go check them out. Plug the socials real quick. What are your social
Oh,
media stuffs
so
there?
I think we're at Condition Bake. John, are we still at Condition Baker or are we at Condition Baker Music? I have no idea. Or
This is
Instagram.
Hey, I'm sorry.
anticlimactic.
I Condition Baker Music on Instagram, and then Condition Baker on Facebook,
Okay.
on Spotify, all that stuff. Yeah.
All righty, ready.
Am I
Probably
missing
change
anything,
that.
AJ? Do we have any other social? We have a Twitter, but I don't think anyone, or an X. I don't think anyone uses that
Yeah.
anymore.
We're
silly.
on TikTok too. Run the TikTok.
The
But
TikTok.
we
The
don't
TikTok.
post on it at all, so, yeah,
Did
Just
Kesha invent?
follow-
I know. I think Kesha invented that app, right? TikTok.
Yeah.
something like that, right?
You guys are our summer finale. Until the next time in the probably late fall, we will see you all soon. This is the Rock Roll and Red Plaid podcast, and we will see y'all later.
Take it easy.
Just fine with your wasted life. Hey, that's just how it goes. Hey, that's just how it goes. So words that I could never disclose in a wasted life that you won't know.
For more of my original content, visit my website, www.andyconley.com.